Been a very positive experience with a lot of people in this room giving us a lot of good information about what they would like to see prioritized. So we'll hear from Liz now. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy. Thank you. Yeah, we can't talk about those things, but thank you for having us here this evening. And I'm really looking forward to this new union leadership. I'm really getting excited about it every day. One of the things that I did the first thing this morning was to whip out my Psalms, because several friends and relatives have been sending me prayers in the mail, by email, and they said, you're going to need this and a lot of holy water. And I agree with them. But I want to say this. One of the things that Candy and I talked about before we even decided to run for this leadership role was the need for a union that was going to address some of the social issues that are unfolding in the city that directly impact education, students, and teachers. And, the day after the ballot count, I got a call immediately from the mayor and the chancellor and everyone else and the council members for a meeting. And I wrote down the dates that they wanted to meet, and I looked at it and said, not yet, because we have not had a chance to even take an assessment of which council members whose legislation is about helping children or hurting them. Because some of the people that are professing to making decisions in this city about black children are not about black children. And we're not going to be the type of union that's going to sit on the sideline, dine and wine with them, and make them think that they're doing something wonderful. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So when David Catania asked me at the end of my testimony at his council hearing about his 6 or 7 pieces of legislation, are we going to continue the process of eating dinner together once a month, Ms. Davis? I said, yes, we are, but we will not be talking about what you and Nathan talked about. It will be something completely different, because your legislation, obviously, you have not taken the time to really assess the damage that it's going to do to black children in this city. Now, I don't know what children you are saying you are doing this for, but it's not the ones I teach. And I've been teaching for 38 years in D.C. in 9 schools. 9 because, not because I chose to, but because that's where they chose to send me. When you talk too much about things they don't want to hear about, you're transferred. But in the 9 transfers, I was never told that I was not an exemplary teacher, and I'm proud of that fact. So Candy and I are in lockstep about the things that we are going to have to become as a union, because the teachers union, in my opinion, might be one of the most formidable structures in this city that can shape reform the way it ought to be shaped to serve children well. And we've not just jumped out here as a result of running for union office. Candy and I have both been out here. Reverend Hagler has been on the steps of the Wilson Building with the teachers union for 20 years. Every time I called him, he would come. On one occasion, he came and his enthusiasm took us into the Wilson Building. I don't think we planned to do that, Reverend Hagler. But we were both standing there, and he got excited, and the hundreds of teachers began rushing the Wilson Building, and he asked me, were we supposed to go in there? I said, I don't think so, but let's go. And the different organizations in this city that are fighting for the same thing we're fighting for, we've got to join forces. And the Washington Teachers Union is the organization that can make that happen. We have Empower DC. We have coalitions. I remember when we used the Stop the Voucher campaign with all of the people that came together for that campaign. The union is responsible. It has a responsibility to bring those organizations together to fight for our children. Privatization of public schools, can't have it. New Orleans, not serving black children or any minority or poor children. To transplant that system into DC, it's not going to happen, not quietly, because every school that is cropping up in the most underserved communities in this city, the charter schools, are cropping up east of the river. Catania said at his community meeting in Ward 7 last week, people in Northwest are not ready to take flight back to the east of the river. And I said, you know why, Mr. Catania? Because the charter schools are not, they don't want to leave Northwest because they don't have charter schools. They're growing in these areas where you are allowing them, and you're talking about not even having a cap on how many can open a year, to give the chancellor the authority to open 10 charter schools a year. In 5 years, we will have 50 charter schools and a public school system that is down the tube. So guess what? We back to a separate but not equal school system, a dual school system, one that is going to warehouse the children who are not cherry picked by the charters, and the charter schools who are being opened by everyone from Walmart to Walmart. Now, where is the oxymoron in that? Walmart. Walmart has the worst track record for workers' rights than anyone in the world. I mean, it is globally known. Globally known. So and of course, if the mayor allow them to come here without the pay wages that people should have, he can forget about running again. I don't waste words. I'm not going to bite my tongue. We led the campaign, Educators for Gray. But when it ain't right anymore, you change. When they stop listening to the constituents and start listening to the privatizers and the profiteers, let the profiteers vote for them. Let them vote for them. Because Catania, all of them, the constituents voted for them and got them in office. And when you stop listening to the people who you represent, it's time to go. The WTU is going to spend 3 years, if we ever get in office, Candy, but we're going to get in office. We're going to get in office. I just left 6 hours with lawyers. When I left, I was spiraling, but I didn't want to go that route. But I have to have plan B and C, because we have a parent organization that's half-stepping too. But that's okay. They half-stepping. We know it. We know. We pay them $60,000 a month and for oversight. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to stay on track. But I just want you to know, I want to thank you, first of all, for giving us the opportunity to come here and talk to you this evening. And I want all of you in this room to know that once we hit the ground on August 1st, that we are planning on doing community outreach fiercely, because we have got to do coalition building. We have got to mobilize this DC community. We have got to forge alliances with parents. And the one organization in this city, if no one else can do it, is the WTU. We have access to 42,000 children, and we have access to their parents, and over 2,500 DC teachers who are DC residents. Now, we can't take that formula and do something with it. We need to pack up and go home. So thank you for having us here. I look forward to working with every one of you. Reverend Hagler, we have not had a chance to talk, but we will. I have just been turned backwards with this challenge, but we're going to get through it, thank God. Thank you so much.